Here's your Storm Track 7 forecast.
I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Danny Cassidy. It was a pretty nice day to kick off the weekend. Temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s, some sunshine. Clouds will build in through the overnight hours though, and winds eventually will pick up out of the southeast. We'll see it increasing through the overnight hours. Tomorrow we'll see sustained winds at about 10 to 20, gusts up to 30, so it's bringing in some warmer air and the chance of maybe some isolated showers during the day and a couple rumbles of thunder Sunday night. Here's the big picture for Sunday night. You can see almost looks like a dolphin here. You got the fin there and you got its head right there and a little bit of a tail right there. Anyway, long story short, for our northern areas north of Highway 20, we have a chance of maybe some storms with some smallish hail. That's about it. I'm not expecting any really severe weather, but some storms could have some small hail after midnight. Winds, tornadoes, not expecting that for Sunday night, but just a couple of showers and storms is a possibility. So let's pick things up here. Saturday evening, well this evening, clouds are going to build in, and you can see after midnight for tonight, we could see maybe a few isolated showers, especially for our far northern areas, but not expecting too much. I think much of the area will be dry. Then during the day tomorrow, you can see very isolated, maybe just even some sprinkles at best. Not expecting too much for your Sunday. If you're outside, yeah, it's going to be a little bit windy, but rain, I'm not expecting that to make too much of an impact. Now here's Sunday night. You can see pretty scattered in nature, and then as we go through the overnight hours, especially where it's a little bit farther north, there's a little bit more energy, a little bit more to work with up there. So you notice you see Monday morning early, Sunday night early Monday, you see kind of these little cells here. Those indicate that maybe you could see some small hail out of that. So that's just something we'll have to watch. But again, not expecting anything too crazy out of that. And then Monday, we're going to start off with some cloud cover. And that's going to lead us to maybe the potential of some strong severe storms if things work out. So we'll get to that here in a minute. For tonight, though, low temperatures in the low to mid 40s, increasing cloud cover with that isolated shower chance. We'll keep that isolated shower chance for tomorrow, but as I mentioned, it's not going to ruin any plans. Partly cloudy skies otherwise, mid to upper 60s, couple of low 70s south and west with that wind picking up out of the southeast. Now let's get ahead to Monday. So if you were with us yesterday, there was a level 3 risk for a majority or all of eastern Iowa, really the whole entire state of Iowa. And day 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, when the Storm Prediction Center issues these, the highest they can go is 3. So today was the first day when it's 3 days out, meaning the first day is today. So today technically will be day 1, Saturday, day 2, Sunday, day 3, Monday. Now you can go to all 5 levels. And they've decided, they have some confidence that this area, level 4, will have a greater chance of severe weather. And you can see a majority of the KWWL viewing area is under that level 4 risk. Really, for the most part, kind of just northwest of the Iowa City area, so stretching from a line through Iowa County there to Dubuque and then everywhere north and west. We could see everything, every hazard, large hail, damaging wind gusts, and yes, potentially a few tornadoes, some which could be strong if everything lines up. But you mentioned with the clouds, or as I mentioned earlier with the clouds, there's not as much certainty of how exactly Monday is going to set up. Now, the overall time frame right now, roughly, is 4 p.m. to midnight, but that could change a little bit if a couple of things go our way, meaning hopefully it starts later. So when does the cap break? We're going to have a lot of warm air, not only at the surface, temperatures going to be in the upper 70s and low 80s, but up above in the atmosphere. And the cap, basically what it means is air's parcels of air. So like let's just say you have air rising, right? You need air to rise to create clouds, storms, etc. But air only likes to rise if it's warmer than its surrounding areas. A cap means that warmer air is a little bit, it's warmer actually above the surface than it is at the surface or as it's going up in the atmosphere. Because usually it's cooler as you go up, but if there's warmer air, then that air kind of stops and that cap prevents it from rising. And if that's the case, storms won't be able to fire off. But it's also a double-edged sword because if the cap's in place and kind of lets things stir and then it breaks, then it can almost explode into the storms. And that's what we have going on. If the cap breaks earlier in the day, afternoon hours, that means we'll have a lot of ingredients to potentially have strong, severe storms. Again, could have that really large hail, damaging wind gusts, and unfortunately, yes, maybe some tornadoes that could be strong. If it doesn't, then I think we'll still see storms, but the cold front coming in will be initiating the storms, not that warm energy, that warm sector as you saw between the cold and the warm front. So let's go back here. I just want to show you this again. So again, we're in between the cold and the warm front. So we could see some storms that initiate during the afternoon ahead of the cold front. And if we see that, that's where we could see really strong, potent storms that could have those tornadoes, large hail, damaging wind gusts. But again, if that cap doesn't break and the cold front ends up initiating later in the nighttime, we could still see severe weather, But again, it could be a different mode of severe weather, and that kind of goes with this. What's the most likely hazard? It also lines up with the timing of the storms. If the cap breaks earlier, it'd be more about 4 or 5 o'clock start time. If it's later, it'd be more about 7, 8 o'clock to midnight. So hopefully that all made sense, but let's show you the timing. This scenario shows if that cap does break. So here's Monday morning, so have some cloud cover, maybe some leftover showers. And that's another thing, because the cap will break if there's enough warming at the surface. If the atmosphere is not able to recover from that morning activity or cloud cover, then that cap might be a little bit later in the day that it breaks. So you can see some clearing during the afternoon. Now you can see storms start to fire off 5 o'clock off to the west. Then that starts to move in here 7, 8 o'clock, starts to move into our northern and western areas, and maybe some storms out ahead that could have in those strong to severe tags. Then we go through the evening hours here. Here's midnight, now is on our eastern edge, and then that moves out, and then we'll be clear by Tuesday no matter what. So as I mentioned, there's still some variables in play, and that's why I want you to stay up to date on the forecast, because there are some big question marks with this. I do think we'll see storms really no matter what for a majority of the area. But if that cap doesn't break till later, then the severe threat could be more isolated, which is what we want, obviously. So as I mentioned, hopefully that all made sense. Stay up to date on the forecast, because Monday is definitely the day to watch here for us, really over the next 10 days and extended. So your city-by-city forecast for Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City. So this 50% chance is more so if it happens during the afternoon. Overnight is more of a 70% chance. We have a little bit more confidence on that timing. Tuesday, no matter what, I think it's going to be dry, partly cloudy skies. Wednesday and Thursday, just some showers. Not expecting anything severe, really not even expecting storms out of those. Then as we head into the weekend here, Saturday looking dry, then maybe next week a few isolated storms. But again, the big day we're focusing on is on Monday.